you're only 64% precious metals. You talk about being a precious metal company. If I had E.B. Tucker on recently, and he was telling me that companies get marked down if they're not 100% precious metals, and they're going to be spinning out some of their copper, nickel assets that are currently sitting in their royalty company to just be clear about what they are. You're not overly concerned with that. I don't think EMX is overly concerned with that. But why that weighting? Why 64, 65% precious metal? Then you've got bulk EV and battery.
Yeah, and that actual breakdown is a little dated now. And
okay.
So when we really look at it, that's on a NAV basis. When we start looking at 2022 cash flow, we're about 81% gold. Okay. That's the predominant bulk. And if you look at 4 of the last 5 deals we've done have been gold. So we are gold focused. It's more organic. There's just more of those opportunities in the markets where we have edges that we continue to bring those through organically. It is also a focus. But when you look at where VOX is going, we are predominantly precious. You can leave that to the investors to say that that's better or worse or somewhere in between. The fact of the matter is we're precious focused. 81% of our revenue in 2022 will be tied to gold. That stacks us up. If you look at it, I think Cisco published this data. They're also 81% gold revenue. You have across the spectrum, you have Sandstorm at 53%, and Franco is somewhere in between on that number. So we are as precious focused really as any royalty business out there.
You will be in 2 years or a year and a half. Okay. What do you do with the current battery and EV stuff? Do you spin it out, or do you just let it run, let it ride?
I mean, if you've looked at the really successful case studies in the royalty space, and we have, and you give full credit to them, someone like Franco has established themselves as really, probably the preeminent player. They have exposure far beyond just gold and just precious, that they've been able to purchase at great value. When we find great value that's highly accretive to our shareholders, while it will never be the overweight or even close to it portion of our royalty portfolio, we're not going to pass up on bringing that value in for our shareholders.
Okay. You talked about, used the word exponential 4 times earlier. So it's obviously, that's a very emotive word. Exponential growth, I guess, is what you're trying to say. Right now, cash position, you said you're kind of floating around at the moment, waiting for things to kind of kick in next year. When do things start getting exponential? What does your cash position look like next year or 2022?
Yeah, good question, Matthew. So we raised $14 million as part of our IPO on May 25th. We have $8 million still of that left to deploy. So we're in a very strong cash position, no debt, very clean capital structure. We will see late 2021 is really when you start to see the organic growth in terms of cash flow and producing assets coming online, driving very significant cash flow for our business. Between now and then, we basically tread water. We cover our G&A, and there is a lot of opportunity for accretive acquisitions between now and then that will increase that cash flow profile. I think it's something investors can expect from us. But in terms of what's organically in our portfolio that we've already acquired, you'll start to see a lot of the fruits of those seeds that we sowed a while ago now kicking in late 2021.